Hi everybody, it's me, Corey T, and in this video I've got something super important to talk about which nobody really talks about, and it's like an undercurrent of this community which is creating conflict and resistance and anxiety and fear on the road to people creating whatever it is that they want, and that thing is shame. We see it all the time in this community, and we see it all the time in society. And we judge ourselves and it makes us feel like we are bad. What shame is an emotion that makes us feel like we are bad or we've done something wrong. And it's a feeling that is put on us by society and by groups and by cultural norms or social norms. Because in society and in groups, people like to believe that there's a right way and there's a wrong way to be, think, feel, do. And the reason why people like to think that there's a right way or a wrong way is because it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel like they've got some certainty. So if any of us step outside of that, or we do something differently, or we feel something differently, then we feel bad and we feel like we're going to be judged. So let's look at this in terms of the manifesting community, because we've got coaches who've got thousands and thousands of followers saying, well, you're in lack, so of course you're not getting what you want. Which is like, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong, I'm bad, and it feels horrible. And then I've got people who come to my coaching sessions and say things like, I know, I don't want to talk about the old story, I know I don't want to be stuck there, and I don't want you to think that I'm stuck in the old story, but... And I'm like, yeah, of course, but, because how am I supposed to help you without hearing where you've come from and hearing the old story? It doesn't mean that you're stuck in the old story, and it's great that you can see the old story, and I'm not going to judge you for it. And I would just like to say that on this channel, there is no judgment whatsoever, because I know that you're human and I know that you have a vast array of emotions. And also, let's address this very, very important point that there are lots and lots of people who are watching my channel and other coaches' channels who actually struggle with their mental health, who've got diagnosed with an anxiety disorder or they've suffered depression, and then they're being told by coaches things like, get out of lack. You'll never get what you want if you're not in the wish fulfilled. And it creates more shame, more fear, more anxiety, more stuckness, more confusion. And it's just not what we need. It's not a vibe. We don't like that. We don't like this shame. And then on top of that, we start doubting ourselves because we see a post on social media or we see a dating coach say a certain thing. And we've been told that if we're self-loving, then we'll never want someone who hurt us. We'll never want to go back to someone who hurt us. You shouldn't want that. If you want to be a real self-loving woman, you shouldn't be that, or man, sorry. So we end up feeling a sense of shame for being where we are in our emotional journey. We end up feeling like we're bad or we're not self-loving enough, when really, all of us just want to be the best we can be. All of us are learning, all of us are growing. And if you're doing this work to become the best version of you, if you're looking for content that empowers you, that lifts you up, that reminds you of how amazing you are, and that actually nothing on the outside can ever prove that, and certainly not anyone's opinions of you, then the truth is it really, really does not matter what anyone else thinks, and no one can judge us for where we are in our emotional journey. Because remember as well, the content that you're seeing online, particularly with the kind of cruel to be kind style of coaching, is a blanket approach, talking to many, many, many people and not focusing on an individual who may have been through trauma, who may have had really severe anxiety disorder, who may have just come out of an awful breakup and still be in that state of healing and recovery from something like that. So I don't want you to feel bad for feeling what you feel. I don't want you to feel any shame for that. And I certainly don't want you to feel any shame for wanting what you want and for being where you are in your emotional journey. The other thing to remember as well is that as you grow in self-love, you know how to set boundaries. You know that, say you did go back to someone that had hurt you in the past, you know how to set boundaries, and you're not the same person that you were. So you can trust yourself, and you have to learn to trust yourself to know that when someone shows up for you in a way that is not in line with who you are and who you believe you are and how you want to be treated, that you are able to say no to that, and you can trust yourself in that respect. It's not about the other person, and it's certainly not about what other people think. And I know I certainly experienced a sense of shame for wanting what I wanted and for following my heart and wanting to create a relationship that I truly wanted. And honestly, despite what anyone might have said, you know, the societal norm of, oh, don't go back to an ex, you know how that's going to end up, and you deserve better and all of this stuff. Well, first of all, we know we deserve better. That's why we want to create it. That's why we're doing this work on ourselves. And no one can force us to feel different from how we feel. So we feel a sense of shame because we feel like we're doing something wrong. We feel like people are going to judge us for wanting what we want. And all of it is nonsense, and we need to learn to get rid of it. So one of the most awesome ways that you can face shame and release shame is to say, okay, well, if you think that I'm bad or that there's something wrong with me for wanting what I want, for feeling what I feel, for being sad one day, then you know what? I'm bad. I'm just going to own it. I'm bad. I'm really bad. I'm going to show you my inner bad girl and just want what I want. Like, come at me, bitch. I'm bad. Let's just embrace it. Enjoy it. Okay, if I'm sad today, well, I'm sorry. I'm bad. I'm bad. So if you're feeling what you feel and then you come across a post or someone saying something on the internet about why you shouldn't feel what you feel, and of course you haven't got what you want yet, and you shouldn't want that, and you shouldn't do that, and why did you say that? If it makes you feel bad, just say to yourself, yeah, well, I'm bad. I must be bad then. I must be a bad, bad girl. I must be real bad. And actually enjoy saying it, like, yeah, I feel what I feel. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? I'm going to own it. This is how I feel today. And I'm not going to feel bad about it because it's how I feel. And I know that I'm processing it. And I know that I'm going to get through it in my own time. And I know that there's no rush for me to be in a place that I'm not right now. And you trust yourself that even if you do feel bad right now, you're committed to the journey to becoming and acting like and feeling like and being the person that you want to be. That commitment, that knowing within yourself that you're on a journey, and yes, you are where you are today, and no, it might not feel the best, but no one can make you feel bad for that. Don't let them anymore. And if you do have a hint of, oh, I shouldn't be feeling like that, or oh, I've done something wrong and I'm not going to get what I want, then stop and pause and say to yourself, okay, well, if that makes me bad, if that makes me wrong, then I'm wrong. I'll own it. I don't care. I'm going to allow myself to feel what I feel. And it releases this whole heavy burden of, oh, I've done something wrong. I'm not doing it right. They're going to think badly of me. They're not going to like me. They're not going to think I'm good at this. Whatever it is, wherever it shows up in your life. And remember that people like to be right. People like to have a right way and a wrong way. But we're human and we're complicated, and not everybody fits in one box. And you certainly don't fit in a box because you're unique and you're special and you've been on your own journey and you've been through a lot, and no one can tell you exactly how to feel or how to do it. That's why you're finding your own way. So don't let shame get in the way of you on your journey creating what you want, because you're doing it right. You're going through the motions, you're going through the emotions at your own pace, and that is perfect and fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you can still create what you want, even if you have good days and bad days and bad days and awful days and terrible days and days where you think it's never going to be okay again. You can still create what you want. So as a rule, you've got to say to yourself, I'm going to create what I want no matter what. So while I process this emotion, I'm going to be okay with it because I know that it's going to pass. And as I expand my tolerance for uncomfortable emotions, I'm also expanding my tolerance for joy as well. And that's great. And I'm okay with it. And no one is going to tell me that I'm wrong. And also we have to make sure that we're not worshipping a false god, right? You don't want to be looking at other people and thinking, oh, they said that I'm doing something wrong. Who are they to say that you're doing it wrong? Who are they to say that you shouldn't feel what you feel? It's kind of gaslighty, isn't it? Sometimes, honestly, in this community, when I see things like you shouldn't be feeling in lack and get out of lack and, quickly get into the wish fulfilled and stuff. I mean, that's great if you can do that. If you can do that, then that is great. And I want everybody to feel better most of the time. And that's where we're heading. That's where we're going. But when we don't feel like that, we don't want to be gaslighting ourselves and our own feelings because we think we shouldn't be feeling a certain way in order to get what we want. And we have to remember as well also that when the focus is so much about, but I need to get this thing, how do I make sure that this thing happens, that we're also more likely to gaslight ourselves. We're also more likely to be susceptible to the idea that we are doing something wrong. okay? Because we've got to get to the point where we feel really okay with ourselves, where we're good with ourselves, where we understand where this need or any desperation comes from, and we come back to self and we feel good about ourselves again, and we feel balanced, and we understand that nothing outside of us can make us happy, and we release the resistance to holding so tightly onto one specific thing, because when we do that, we free ourselves. But one of these things that shackles us down, that makes us feel bad, that drives anxiety, is shame. So what I want to invite you to do today is to have a look at your life and see where you felt shame. It could be from society, it could be from work, it could be from social media, it could be from something that you've heard in this community. Whatever it is, write it down, look at it, and ask yourself, am I really that bad for feeling what I feel, for doing what I'm doing, for wanting what I want? Am I really that bad? And then give yourself permission, because you don't need anyone else's permission, to number one, feel what you feel, to be where you are in your journey, it's okay, to really have compassion for yourself and where you've come from and what you've been through, because you've been through a lot on your own. I mean, everybody has been through a lot, but you personally will have been through your own set of circumstances and things in childhood, and lots of things may have happened in your life that have created the trauma responses, the nervous system dysregulation, any anxiety, any depression that you might be feeling now. And that is for you to have a lot of compassion about, and for you to understand that in this community, people and coaches and people who are just responding to content, they are often not talking directly to you, and they don't understand your background and what you've been through. So this video is as well like a safety video to remind you that you're going through your own stuff. And there are people in this community who actually do suffer from mental health issues, and it's not easy for everybody to just suddenly feel positive, suddenly feel like everything's fine, suddenly be in the wish fulfilled and sustain it all the time. You're human. So one of the things that you can say to yourself when you're feeling down, when you're feeling low, when you feel like you've slipped up, when you feel like you're not in alignment, when you feel like you're not feeling your best, you can say, well, hey, yeah, I see that emotion there, and that's very human of me. That's very human of me. That's a really nice thing to say to yourself. Yeah, I see you. It's very human of you to feel like that. You're normal. This feeling is normal. Perfectly normal reaction to you, your process, the things that you're learning, the patterns that you're unlearning. And remember as well that you're on a journey to unlearning a lot of the patterns, a lot of the dysregulation that's happened in your life. You're in a process to unlearning that, and it can take time. It takes time. We can't do it overnight. And often people come to these videos and they see these things like, you've got to be in the wish fulfilled, and they think, right, okay, yes, I'll be in the wish fulfilled. I'll do it now. And they can't, because they haven't taught their bodies, they haven't given themselves time to learn how to do that. And then they feel bad for feeling what they feel when they don't need to feel bad. So let me know if this video has resonated with you. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you did enjoy this video, you're going to love my specific person revolution, which is coming up on Sunday the 17th, where we're going to be diving into all sorts of conversations like this, where we're going to be unpacking the language in the community, the undercurrent, the things that are affecting people's manifestations and mental health, so that you can manifest whatever it is that you want in a healthy way that feels good to you, that empowers you and doesn't make you go crazy. So if you'd like to come along, you can find information in the link below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.